Hello, everyone, and welcome to Button Smash!
Yeah!
Hey! What's going on?
What's going on?
Hello, everyone! Tonight, we're going to be talking about some of the latest news and events that have happened throughout the week. I'm your host, Back to Funky Sergio. Before we get on to all the good stuff we have in store that we're going to talk about, let's see who's on the cast today. You know, and we love them. Chris.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here tonight, gentlemen, amongst such wonderful colleagues.
Yeah. Speaking of colleagues, TV's Casey.
Hey!
That's it.
That's all I got.
Well, I always expect more for some reason. I don't know why.
I got a new hat. I got a new hat this week.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Anyway, stop. All right. We got Booster Greg.
That's right. I'm here, right here for your viewing and listening pleasure. It is me, the great Booster Greg, coming at you live in high definition something.
Calling in from 1945.
From 19,
Yeah,
previously
can you drop
on Legend of Korra.
Drop some Bioshock lines for us.
Yeah.
That circus of value.
The circus of value.
There it is.
That was
That's what I
great.
needed.
I love the lead in there. That's awesome. Guys, so this week we're going to be talking about some pretty interesting stuff that happened. The first thing was we got to play one of the, I think, great sequels to a great superhero video game. So Spider-Man PS4, I thought, was one of the best superhero games ever made. I had a lot of fun with that game. I thought the story was great. I thought the combat, the Arkham style lent very well to Spider-Man. And I got really invested in Peter Parker and the story that they were trying to tell. I thought they did a better job in the movies. I wanted it to become live action. And I couldn't wait every day to get home from work to play that game. Just like this game, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I couldn't wait each and every day when I was done with work to get home, turn on my PlayStation, and play this game just to see the continuation of this story. So Greg had a chance to play it on PS5.
Yeah.
Hey, did you play the 4K mode or performance mode?
I did performance mode because I can't do HDR when I'm streaming because I'm like watching it off of my monitor and it looks weird on stream. It looks oversaturated and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not going to get the ray tracing. I'm not going to get all that. So I'll just put it on 60 FPS. And then I haven't done this yet, but afterwards I do plan on going through and platinuming it, 100%ing it. And I'll do that on, not on beauty mode essentially. But yeah, it played really smooth on 60 FPS, 1080. I was like, oh, God, this looks good. It feels good. I didn't have any complaints through it. There were multiple times. If you watch, I streamed the whole playthrough. So if you go to twitch.tv/BoosterGreg, the VODs are all there in a nice little collection for your viewing pleasure. It's only 3. I was like, this will take me 4 or 5 like streams. No, it was 3.
Short game, baby.
A short game. But you know what? It was... Every second of it, I'm just like, this is gorgeous. Like, this is amazing. I'm like, are you guys looking at this? This is just like watching the snowfall, like watching a flake like land on like Miles' jacket. Just like, geez, the attention to detail is amazing. Did you have that same detail on PS4?
It was actually pretty nice too. Well, when I was streaming it here on We Are Rogue Matter, the viewership, the audience was just like, oh wow, like is this a PS5? Because when I was streaming on. Yeah, when I was streaming on Twitch, it's always in 1080. So the people were just like, "Oh wow, like this is really good," and I was just like, "No, this is PS4, not PS5."
Serge, do you have a launch PS4 or do you have a PS4 Pro?
I have a launch PS4.
All right, I also have a launch PS4, and I will tell you, for the most part, it ran beautifully until there's a whole section where you're chasing the Tinkerer through the city, and oh my goodness, my PlayStation was ready to explode. It was dropping frames.
Chug.
Oh, I mean, so the screen kept freezing like the whole time. So it took me like 3 tries to actually beat it because it got a little rough with all of the fun neon lights that were flying everywhere. But besides that one section, it played like a champ. Like it was very clearly pushing my PlayStation to the limits, but it was, that was a rough moment for me.
That's called fourth dimensional integration, where your PS4 like just lights up like a jet engine, and you can hear the technology working just like the Tinkerer. You can just hear it.
Yeah, Chris, I had that too. There are certain points in this game because I had a PS4, not a beautiful, delicious PS5. Yeah, there were some chugging moments, and I could probably like cook like an egg at the back of my PlayStation 4, just have it like nice and soft boiled. Because all you hear is she's like about to take off. Please, put your trays in front of you. We're gonna take off. Let's go, PS4 Airlines.
Brings back fond memories of the PS3 and their little hot dog tray.
Yeah.
I did. So I do have an external SSD that I've been putting games I'm currently playing on to make it like anticipating that this was going to be pretty taxing on the system. I figured I'd lighten the load a little bit by getting those loading times to pop up a bit more. So that I believe helped, but it certainly did not eliminate all sections. However, absolutely gorgeous game.
Oh my god, incredible!
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cool thing was like you actually get to like navigate New York. Like I forget what I was doing as a side mission, but I ended up on Broadway, and I was just like, oh, if I swing this way, like Times Square is right here, and sure enough, boom, there it was, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, it's such a great moment. Like, what did you guys think of the story of Miles Morales? I mean, I know you guys are. I mean, I know like Chris and Greg and Casey are familiar with the comic story. Chris, I don't know if you're familiar with it either.
Nope.
But what did you guys think of the storytelling?
I thought it was on par with the first one in terms of,
it was fine.
liberties taken and stuff like that. This is clearly just a different universe that we're following them in. So really anything can kind of happen. So, they have a very similar, I guess, flow to what happens to Peter, what happens to Miles. So, that leads him to be Spider-Man. And this is very much like a very green Spider-Man, right? Like he's very new. He's trying to figure things out. He literally has training pads in the first hour of the game.
I love that. It's so good.
Which I thought was really funny. So
the
I thought it was
suit.
Yeah, I stopped reading Ultimate Comics right before Miles hit, so I was never invested in Miles until really Spider-Verse. And when that happened, Spider-Verse is my top favorite movie of all time. I kind of kept tabs on him and I knew what he was doing. Like when they did the what the hell was that thing? Was it called Spider-Verse, Casey? That whole story arc?
What?
Where the Moreland family basically just hunts.
That's what it is. Yeah, Spider-Verse.
Yeah, so that I kept tracks on him through there. And there was times where Miles is from the Ultimate Universe and he came over to the 616 universe.
And then
so
they killed the Ultimate Universe, so Miles was here to stay permanently.
Yep. So all that kind of stuff. Casey, you'd probably know a lot more than me.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been a huge avid reader of Miles except for his latest series by Saladin Ahmed, which has been really, really some quality comics. But yeah, I feel like the only preface you really need for this game is what you know about Miles from the movie. And I think that's very deliberate because that's peak exposure of the character.
For sure.
Comic books are niche, man. Everybody sees movies.
Yeah. I watched the Spider-Verse movie before playing the game and then after.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people to do that for
I'm watching it
just
right
to kind
now.
of refresh their memory of who Miles Morales is and what he's going through. Because some people started playing it and when you ran into his uncle, oh, that's the Prowler, and then it was cool to see some people's reactions when they were like, oh, this is a family member. They had no idea who the Prowler was or who he was. Yeah, and you see some people in chat hey, don't spoil it. Just, chill.
Shut up, nerd.
I mean? Yeah, shut up, nerd. We don't need that kind of context. But I mean, I think the story wise was I think it was pretty good. Miles as a character and Miles as a kid in this story trying to live up to Spider-Man and his friend having that really good line of whenever you say Spider-Man you always mean the other guy but you're Spider-Man too, and I was like, oh, it's so good. And that rings through through the whole story because he's always trying to struggle with I'm trying to be like Pete and I'm trying to live up to the superhero Spider-Man, but he needs to just do his own thing. And that's kind of the theme of this thing, just be yourself and do your own thing. And in the end, he kind of comes to and being his own Spider-Man. And I thought that was really powerful. And I thought it was it's so cool to see his journey.
No, man,
because
he's
the whole
our
time
Spider-Man.
Yeah. I like it. He's our Spider-Man, and you feel for him this whole time because he goes through such drama, through such turmoil, and he's trying to do it all on his own. Because Pete's I'm going off at MJ. She's doing a project.
Go to Paris. Peace out.
Taking a
Peace out,
dude.
And he's like, wait, what the hell you mean you're leaving me? Well, MJ
You got this right.
thing.
You got this right.
You're
maybe.
Spider-Man.
Right? You're good, right? You're good. You got this right.
Yes, no. All right, I'll be over there.
So
one
thing I did really like about this story is the same opinion I had. I think I said this before about Uncharted Lost Legacy versus Uncharted 4, where Uncharted 4 was a very long game, a very good game. And the same thing with like Spider-Man, a very good game, but it was very long. And Lost Legacy to Uncharted 4 is like a much more streamlined version of Uncharted 4. It's okay, let's get rid of the fluff. We're going to cut it down to this specific story, these specific moments, these specific set pieces. And I felt like Miles did the same thing. It was a much shorter game than the original Spider-Man, but it didn't feel like there was any bloat to it. Like everything felt like it was a purpose in leading towards this main climax, which I thought was great. Shorter games, man, they can be pretty good. Even, I know people want more, but to tell a full, solid story, let's make those games a little shorter.
Yeah, I like that too. You need like a 50-hour game for it to be like something of substance, or to have like extra padding. And an interesting comment in chat, and I agree with this too. Like how, and I think this is what you meant. How could Peter save everything if everything, which how much stuff needed to be powered by the Venom strike? Like everything that Miles did need to be powered by his electricity power to progress in the story or to stop things. So it's like, yeah, wait a minute, how could Peter have done
because
that?
He used technology.
Yeah.
Someone brought that up in chat too. I don't remember who it was, but it was just like, oh, you have way less gadgets. And it's like, well, yeah, I can just Venom punch everything. I can Falcon punch everything I need to.
So you're saying that Peter would just to use like, some kind of tech, he would have figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, who needs taser webs when you have bioelectric punches?
Yeah.
Jump me like a car.
It's true.
Yeah.
I will say this about the whole thing, though. Playing as Miles and doing one of those like Venom dashes or Venom punches or or Venom smash was so satisfying.
Yeah.
Like you just uppercut someone off of a building into New York City. And I don't even check to see if they get webbed to the building anymore. I'm just like, you're gone. You're obliterated, pal.
Dude, yeah, when you haymaker punch someone with a straight like Ryu from Street Fighter fist just going into them and they just fly off a building in like this huge like yellow explosion of electricity, I'm just like, I cannot go back to Peter Parker. I can't go back to regular Spider-Man after this. Come on, this is insane.
I really hope for the second one they do like a Maximum Carnage kind of like situation. So I don't consider this like number 2 as much as I like this. Just like I don't consider the Uncharted, I don't remember what it's called, Lost Legacy. I don't consider that number 5. Do you?
I think honestly, with the length of this game, I would argue that this is glorified, overpriced DLC.
So, but this is the thing: is like I think what Sony is doing with Lost Legacy and with Miles Morales is they're making this like gray area of like a franchise, right? This isn't like Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Spider-Man. This isn't Disney's, Insomniac's, Marvel's, Pixar's Spider-Man 2, right? This is like a chapter or like a one shot essentially about the characters so we can get to know them more while they work on number 2. And there's a lot of like work and effort that was put into this. This is the best launch title game that I've played. Period.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing is that they already had a lot of their assets built before the other game. So it's like, okay, let's take something that we know works and we're going to improve on it. And so we can make it even better than it was before. Not to mention, we're going to be one of the tent poles of the new the new console that drops in there. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a nice little like, probably a smaller team started this game and started working on the story and things like that, and then they probably brought in the bigger the grander team to polish it up and finish it off. But overall, yeah, amazing package. It's a nice little small package.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys think about the supporting characters? We got Genki, Miles' mom, and Finn.
Everyone's pretty forgettable except Finn for obvious reasons. So I just want to say this, and then I'll just not talk about Genki ever again in my life. I hate that his voice sounds exactly like Pete. Every time he jumps on the comms, I'm just like, is that Pete? Like it just it sounded, if it's not like the Peter Parker in this universe, it sounded like they would get to voice Peter Parker. So I hear him saying things, and the way he's talking is very like technological.
He's got
and, like,
very
he's a smart
Peter-esque voice.
He's so every time I'm like, is that Pete? I'm like, oh god damn it.
Really? I never got that. That's interesting.
I got so excited when I heard his voice, and it's just like, oh, it's just. I can't believe it's not Ned. It's my guy in a chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, so somebody said that this is where they got Ned from, right? Like, they pulled Ned from Miles' story. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's the Ned from the Homecoming, the MCU Spider-Man movies is based on Genki Lee, big time. He just has the name of some guy that Peter used to work with in the original 616 comics. Who actually ended up being the Hobgoblin for a little while, which is weird. People were like, "Oh, Ned's going to be the Hobgoblin," and I'm like, "No,
No, he's not.
no."
He might. He slimmed down pretty recently. I saw an article.
Yeah, he did. He got yeah.
He slimmed down.
I was like,
real
whoa,
quick.
look at this guy.
Oh,
Like
good for him.
that's some Hollywood weight loss. So who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some Disney money weight loss.
Yeah, it was. When I saw that photo, I was like, dude, that's all. And he was dripping too. I was like, he had like a fit on and everything. I was
Yep.
like, bro, this guy's going for a role. Something's happening.
Could happen.
So
yeah.
it could be.
I
It
would
could
be very surprised, and I still have severe doubts. I think their friendship is too wholesome. I think it would be a waste to just do your classic Harry Osborn story. Like, we've seen it before. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
I
mean, they
sure.
need to like spice it up there. 'Cause
What?
I'm getting bored.
You know
of,
what?
like,
You know what's spicing it up? Letting Peter Parker have friends. How about that? How's that for a new concept, huh? I don't know.
And don't let them die by his own hands.
Yeah.
How about that,
Yeah,
too?
I mean,
that's
this-
like his thing.
Look, this game is a perfect example. One of Miles' friends becomes the bad guy. Like,
Talk about it.
what's to talk about? That's it. It's pretty like cut and dry. Like, I wasn't blown away by this story. I thought it was perfectly
No, I wasn't
serviceable.
either.
I thought it was perfectly serviceable for a video game. But then I also, I wasn't blown away by the last one either. The most the most novel thing about original PS4 Spider-Man was somehow Peter Parker has been Spider-Man for 7 years and has never fought Venom, the Green Goblin, or Dr. Octopus in a 7-year career.
But so that's the thing. That's what I kind of opened with is this is just very clearly just an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Where these things haven't happened yet. And the post-credit scene too in this got me so excited for number 2.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go, 'cause I want co-op. And I hope that no, it was not Rocksteady who's doing it. It's WB Games Montreal. I hope that they're testing the grounds with Gotham Knights to see how this kind of open world
Can we make a 4-player Spider-Man game?
That'd be
so,
sick.
I wouldn't say 4-player for Spider-Man. I would say 2-player. You could play as Miles or you could play as Pete. That's what I would really like.
Yeah, but what
That'd
about
be
Scarlet
really cool.
Spider?
No, never Scarlet Spider.
Wait, you want
He's not
like
canon
a
yet.
full on Spider-Verse game where you play as the whole
That
crew
would
at
be
once?
sick. But
Play
I also-
Spider UK, Spider Gwen, Aunt May as Spider-Man.
Spider
I used to think that the
Spider
next
Page.
Spider-Man game was going to be Pete wearing the symbiote and Miles being the protagonist, and they kind of maybe you start as Pete, and then halfway through Pete becomes bad, then you play as Miles, and you continue and you beat the suit off of Pete, and then it goes into Eddie or whatever.
Yeah.
But now I'm really thinking that it's going to be Miles and Peter have to team up to take down Harry as Venom. Is what I'm really thinking is what's going to be the case.
Pretty good story.
Yeah, because towards the end of the game, they kind of hint that that's what's going to happen. Because he's in a vat, and his dad comes up and he's like, "I don't care, just
Get him out of the tank. Hey, that's the lizard. I know him.
Yeah,
Yeah, his arms pinned up, and I'm like, "Is that Kurt?"
That's
and he
Kurt.
comes in. First thing Norman says is, "What's going on, Kurt?" I'm like, "Ah."
I know where this goes.
yeah. And if you have subtitles on, you'll see his full name. It's like, oh, it's a lizard.
Can you imagine if it wasn't though, and we're just all assholes for assuming that just because he has one arm, he's automatically Kurt Connors?
Just another guy in the Spider-Man verse with one arm and
they
another
don't even
doctor.
subtitle him. They just give him his one-armed doctor.
One arm doctor coming soon to CBS.
Who could forget this classic Spider-Man villain? It's like,
Yeah.
how will you defeat me, Spider-Man, when I've got one arm?
Speaking of villains, what'd you guys think of the Tinkerer?
Nah,
Fine.
she's fine.
Infamous villain of Spider-Man, the Tinkerer,
Super
a.k.a. his childhood friend. What a
Yeah.
twist, guys. No one saw it coming. Holy crap. I was out here like, man, childhood friend, somebody who's seen in a long time. There's
I know.
something new afoot, this new underground that popped up. Whoa, there's some flashback memories, and then it's just like, wow.
Just
Yeah. The story didn't overwhelm me.
take a shot for every cliche in that final battle.
Yeah.
Oh, my, that
the
was so...
thing is going to blow up all of Harlem. No, it won't. I've seen my calculations. Like,
That final battle was so disappointing. God, everybody just reminded me of The Last Jedi or something like that. It's just like, she's like, you can't stop me. Well, join me. No, I don't want to join you because I'm good. Oh, well, screw that. And Miles is like, because I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it! The whole fight where she's like, "Get out of my way!" No, I have to stop you. Whoa! This is my voice.
I just want to point out that Pete told Miles one thing when he left. He's just like, just don't take off the mask. Don't tell anyone you're Spider-Man. He told everyone he was Spider. He was testing the waters. First thing he tells Genki, and then he tells his mom, and then he tells his nemesis in the series or in this game, and then he just takes off his mask, and all of freaking Brooklyn is just staring at him
yeah,
you got to go through me, and me. And me.
Yeah, it's like the movie.
I am Spartacus.
I am Spartacus.
They even to the line of, he's a young kid. Yeah. So young.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, we're just putting
he's as old as my son.
And the fact that his mother is running for office too, which means he's going to be in publicity stuff, which means that someone, even if they don't know who he is in that moment, they're going to remember that and be like, isn't that Spider-Man?
That's Spider-Man's mom.
Yeah.
That's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's mom is running for Congress?
That's the new campaign posters. Spider-Man's mom.
Yeah.
Vote.
Also a small nitpick, his mom's character model I thought was a bit plastic because everybody else looked great. Miles looks great, Finn looks great because it's they're kind of loosely based off of real people, I guess, and they just do it. But she just seemed like a completely made up plastic character model, and I was just I was supposed to be feeling something when she's just like, Miles, what are you wearing? You're Spider-Man? And I'm just but it's delivered by this plastic doll of a person with eyes. And I'm just I'm not feeling anything. I'm not seeing anything. And the whole performance is being carried by Miles and the motion capture they're in. And I'm just you guys, can anybody see this in the final of this? I mean, what's going on here?
That moment was also wasted on me because I was wearing the hoodie. What the hell is that costume called? The end
suit. Yeah.
The end suit. So he's without the mask, it just looks like he's wearing a hoodie with a Spider-Man shirt and camo pants. And I'm just lie.
My son is Spider-Man. Greatest fan. Spider-Man's greatest fan.
It's what is this merchandise, son? Where'd you get this money? This is expensive.
My son's a drug dealer.
Yeah. What the fuck is this? I don't even make this much. Where you been, Miles?
Terrible.
Supposed to be out there getting me coconut milk. What are you doing?
And he never did.
He never did.
You'd think that the video game wouldn't have to do the dumb Tobey Maguire nonsense of he's got to have FaceTime, but fucking here we are.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it. So, what are you guys' thoughts of the Spider-Man Miles Morales overall?
Fun to play. Don't read too much into the story.
So Casey hasn't played it, so let's keep that. What I'll tell people is, if you liked the Spider-Man PS4 game, you will definitely like the Miles Morales game. The web slinging is great. They added in this is something just for the ADD and the ADHD crowd. They added in the Tony Hawk tricks that you can do that give you some little buff.
Yeah.
So you can charge up your Venom strike, which was actually very worth it, and just kind of gave you something to do as you're web slinging around, because no one's really taken the quick travel. I did it twice, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna go through. It's everything you like about the first game. Less gadgets, so the combat's a little more fluid, in my opinion. And those Venom punches are just so sweet. It's going to be really tough to go back to Pete after that.
Yeah, every time I land a punch or I hit a combo, or I'm just defeating a whole group of enemies just as Miles with no gadgets, or maybe just using the gravity bomb and then just going up and doing a huge Venom ground pound. I was like, there's no way Peter the next game could ever top this. I mean, the graphics were beautiful, the gameplay, the way I just love booting it up and just swinging through the city as Miles and doing those tricks. Just running up to the World Trade Center and just falling down and just I love doing the trick where he's falling backwards and he's checking his phone or he's putting his hands behind his back, and there's so many things you can do, and it's so good. And thematically and cinematically, it's amazing. I mean, the cutscenes are great. You really get that superhero feel in this game. A much better job, and the devs from Avengers can learn something. But yeah. All right, guys. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will have more to talk about. Stick around. And we're back from break. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Listening out there on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or where you listen to a podcast, including watching our VODs on youtube.com/Rogue Matter. Everyone tuning in every Thursday night at 9 p.m. here on twitch.tv/We Are Rogue Matter, and join the live chat. What's up, everybody? See you out there. You look great. I don't know why I ran into a bomb there. What's up, everybody? How you doing? I don't know where the hell that came from.
It's me, the president of podcasting.
I have a book out. Go get it. Anyway, guys, so another thing that recently happened that we all love. I mean, this thing is saving a whole franchise. Like, we're enjoying what's happening, what's coming right before our eyes. The Mandalorian had a new episode that appeared on Disney Plus on Friday, and boy, oh boy, was everybody tuning in, waking up, or staying up just to watch this thing. I mean, people were talking about in their time zones, like, I just stayed up the whole night, or I set my alarm clock. Like, me and my spouse watched it, me and my girlfriend loved it, the boyfriend, non-binary, whoever, everybody, no matter who you are, came together and watched as Dave Filoni brought to life
Ahsoka Tano.
Admiral Thrawn.
What? Son of a bitch.
Wait, what? God damn it, Case.
He didn't bring him to life. He mentioned his name. That doesn't mean anything.
He breathed it into the universe. Admiral Thrawn.
He could have said Moff Martha for all I care. Until I see that blue skin paint, I ain't saying nothing.
Funny enough, one of my buddies for Halloween dressed up as Thrawn. His name's Drawn, so he's Grand Animal Drawn. Great, stupid.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But the Mandalorian episode. I mean, okay, so the week before we were like, okay, how is she going to come in? How is Ahsoka Tano going to come in? And maybe at the end of the episode, like the Dark Troopers are going to come out. No, right off the bat, we get her. Right off the bat, Dave Filoni's like, I'm not messing around, you guys. Here we go.
Let me show you how I'm not messing around. I'm going to homage Yojimbo this whole episode.
Right? You guys thought what? She would come in behind. You guys thought what? That I'm stupid? Here she is right up front. I was like, holy crap, we're getting into it.
Okay, hold on a minute, though.
Uh-oh. Whoop.
So,
zip, zap.
As much as I was excited to see Ahsoka Tano, I believe this was possibly the worst put together episode of Mandalorian we've seen
Whoa,
yet.
That's a big beefy claim.
So
I like the hot take.
This open, I had no problem with the content, with the story. That's fine. Every problem that I had to do with what was being shown to us visually and how it was being shown, and the showing her in like the third shot. Just like, oh yeah, she's there, but then later switch to like almost like a horror looking out into the woods while just seeing your army getting taken down. I was like, that's backwards, man. You got to do a bigger reveal than that. There was just no drama to it. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm here. Like I've been here the whole time for a season and a half.
Yeah.
Gripe one of the episode. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. That was my opening critique. I was like, really? That's how she's just gonna be there.
You want an opening critique? How the hell do regular casual ass Star Wars fans enjoy the show anymore?
I can answer that because my dad is a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, he got me into Star Wars. My father have it. No, I have it too. And he's a movie fan. He doesn't watch the cartoons, or I explained to him who Ahsoka Tano was, and he was just like, okay. Sure,
that's nice.
Whatever. But he did enjoy the episode. He thought it was cool. I mean, not knowing who this person is, not having any of the gravity, he thought it was a good episode. And I've seen some of that reaction from all across the internet. You have people like doing live reactions on Twitter, live reactions on YouTube. People who don't know who Ahsoka is, who've never watched the cartoons, they're just movie fans, and they enjoyed it. I mean, I think it's possible when you write a good story, you have a good episode. I mean, like we know The Mandalorian's like a flavor of the week. Here's the episode with this Jedi. You know, if you don't know who she is, oh, here's this Jedi that the Mandalorian's going to. Oh, this is really cool. A lot of action is happening. She's talking to this lady who seems like a dictator of this town. Oh, a Jedi is going to right some wrongs here. So I think that's the perspective people saw.
Hashtag they said not a Jedi.
2 episodes ago, the Bo-Katan
like
episode.
People who don't know who she is, this Jedi.
Yeah, 2 episodes ago with Bo-Katan, like they set up enough. Even like if you watched both Rebels and Clone Wars, you're like, oh hell yeah, she's there. But they do enough in the episode itself to explain who she is, enough that you aren't going to be like, oh, what the hell am I seeing? And the same thing. She says, Ahsoka Tano, a Jedi, go find her here, which meant by the time we got around to this episode, even if you didn't know it's like the weight that we have behind her in 2 series of television worth of stories, you know that she's significant and you know what her purpose in this particular story is,
right,
without having to struggle.
But then the narrative is absolutely written around you know who this character is.
I don't think so.
It has to be if for the only reason is they leave a beat, like a suspenseful beat after she says Grand Admiral Thrawn, and to Joe somebody, they'd be like, what is that supposed? Oh, is that a thing? Let me go.
Yeah, but it's not. We don't know anything. It's not like, oh, they say a name, which means the whole point of the episode was to point, like the magistrate was like, the fact that we didn't really know anything about the magistrate. That's fine. Doesn't matter because the whole point of getting that was to get to, okay, this is the next enemy that we're gonna focus on. Hopefully,
maybe. You don't. I mean, I personally think that Thrawn is too big of a scale for a show like Mando.
Yeah, which is why people think like Ahsoka's gonna have her own show and Thrawn's gonna like appear, with Ezra and that whole thing. It's gonna be like a whole
It's
like
pilot
live action
season.
Rebel show. Yeah, I mean, I'd watch it too. If Dave Filoni is doing something like this live action, I would watch it. I mean,
I'd watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible. I thought Rosario Dawson did a really good job bringing this character to life. And I was watching reactions from like some hardcore like people like, I love Rebels, I love Clone Wars, and people were like crying on YouTube like, oh my god, she's beautiful. I was like, holy crap, because like she doesn't mean like that much to me, but to other people, they were just absolutely ecstatic when they saw her. Like they were like crying, people crying at like how Rosario Dawson played Ahsoka Tano. They're like, she's beautiful,
It's perfect.
I love nerds, dude. It's so great.
They even got Ahsoka to be younger somehow.
Yeah, her Leiku are shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like-
Disney said they had to do that out of consideration for the actor.
I see.
And all Star Wars fans were like,
buy it.
shut up.
I don't know. I didn't bump on it. I mean, I think we've talked at length about like the art style of Rebels anyways. So like whatever. It's an art style. They decided that style was that she had, the longer heads, but whatever. I was fine with it. I thought she looked awesome.
Yeah,
Well, it's not just. It was like the top parts were longer too.
Yeah.
Like not just the whole thing was just longer. And I don't know. It's just kind of like it gave her more of like a graceful kind of look, in my opinion.
I'm just saying,
she's kind of back to
tasteful.
basics.
Obi-Wan
dignified.
in Clone Wars versus Obi-Wan in the prequel trilogies. Like, what do you want, man?
Right.
It's live action versus animated. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but like that's not the right argument to take because it's Dave Filoni behind both of those versus Dave Filoni behind one of the properties with your argument. So it's like he kind of took what he wanted from the Clone Wars prequels or the prequel movies and just kind of like made what he thought to be better about it, right? Like he really drastically improved on it. I was reading a tweet where someone's just like, yeah, this is just like the 2.0 version. This is the DLC update that you get with the prequel trilogy that just makes it all better.
Yeah.
And it's completely accurate. But like Dave Filoni is, I would assume, responsible for Ahsoka's updated look in Rebels. So like I know it's like Rosario Dawson's like a big name and stuff like that, but like how much, like I don't even care if like the down parts, I don't even know, and anatomical, I can't talk, I don't know what it's called, but like the top parts just make it more like regal, more crown
Just say
like,
her head.
that's what
you
it
can
was.
Just call them head prongs.
Her head tentacles, her head tickles.
Oh, yeah, like her, yeah.
Head tickles.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like just a big kind of like bummer. I thought Rosario Dawson did a great job. I had those same like knee jerk reaction. Like remember when you're a kid and you're watching Ghostbusters, the movie, and you're like, oh man, like this is great. And then you watch the real Ghostbusters cartoon, and you're like,
Who are these?
That's
Who
not
are these
them.
guys?
I did have that kind of same reaction to Ahsoka showing up. I'm like, that doesn't sound like Ahsoka. Granted, I listened to the audiobook about Ahsoka and how she got those white lightsabers, which was badass,
Pretty
by the
metal,
way. Yeah. And I'm just used to her having a voice, and I can headcanon that as being she's older.
Wait, was it
stuff
Ashley
like
who did that too?
Yeah, she read. So it was really cool because she read that book. So when she's Ahsoka, she portrays Ahsoka, but when she's anyone else, it's weird.
Oh,
It's
they
just
don't.
like-
They didn't have her just do the Ahsoka bits.
She did the whole thing.
Okay.
Oh wow! Oh, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's an audiobook. It's not an audio drama. So like they get one person to read
I
it.
listened to a Watchmen audiobook once where it was a male
geez.
narrator, and he did falsetto whenever he had to voice Silk Spectre.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Very upsetting. Fire that man immediately.
It was.
Yeah.
He did a great job overall, but I just don't know why you wouldn't get a second person if you're gonna be like because I feel like you don't improv something like that. You get direction.
Here's where Casey
Yeah.
goes down a rabbit hole,
no,
and
no.
he doesn't bring us back.
No.
Go on.
I feel like in a voice acting role, like sure there are times where they'll let you improvise, especially if you're well known. But I'm sure that they give you direction to do something where it's like, okay, I want you to do a separate voice for the dialogue and the narration, and I don't know, man. But listen, I feel like is Ashley Eckstein not a good enough actress where you could have done her in live action? I don't know, but they got Rosario Dawson because people have fan cast her as older Ahsoka for years.
Yeah.
Years,
Yeah.
and
also so Kevin Smith can ruin for everyone at 3:00 in the morning that she shows up in the episode.
yeah, what a come on.
Oh wait, what
a
did he do?
dingus. So he tweeted out, or maybe it's Instagram, I don't know. He posted on social media. He was like, "I woke up at 3:00 in the morning to show my love for Ahsoka Tano, for Rosario Dawson. Like, I'm so excited for her. She gets to portray this character. Blah blah blah." Now, granted, we all knew that Rosario Dawson was going to portray Ahsoka Tano. What we didn't know is that she was showing up in this episode.
Mm-hmm. We didn't know when it was going to happen.
When it was going to happen, we just knew that
Okay.
it was going to happen.
Oh,
so
interesting.
and I heard that he got in trouble for doing something like that for some other show, where he just like spoiled it like the morning of or something, and everyone's just like, "What the hell?" And he went on one of his podcasts. He was like, "You know what? I'm sorry. Like, you're right. Like, some people didn't get to watch it yet." And then he went and did the goddamn same thing.
Oh man.
Gwyneth Paltrow is supposedly infamous for doing that. Like for Endgame, she talked about like the funeral, like the Marvel like red carpet.
Listen,
And people
Gwyneth
just like-
Paltrow doesn't know what movies she's in
is true.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, it's so bad. Yeah, because like she was on the red carpet for like the premiere, and she was like, "Yeah, it was so touching." When we're like the whole cast was there at the thing for the funeral, and then I was like,
What?
It's like, holy crap.
And then Tom Holland comes out of nowhere and goes, "It wasn't me this time."
Yeah, it wasn't me this time. Or Ruffalo. But I liked in this episode. I really liked how she fought the Mando, and people like really got the feel for the Beskar armor. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
you didn't get it before, like why that metal is so sought after, and why the Empire would try to like plunder for it. Like that, like now you get it.
Black
Armor
lightsaber.
works.
Now you get
Black
it.
Armor
lightsabers.
works in this show. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now we understand. Okay, but now comes to my second gripe
Yes,
of this
do it,
the show.
do it.
The final battle between her and the magistrate. So this fight,
Embarrassing.
okay, every single
Embarrassing?
so they didn't get, or if they used any stunt footage of stunt people, they didn't. It got left on the cutting room floor because every shot of them fighting is a cut between the two, Rosario Dawson and or Ahsoka and the magistrate posing.
Yeah.
And they just do quick cuts to a bunch of different poses.
Yeah.
But they started the whole thing off with that awesome like samurai showdown shot. And I was like, why don't you get that friggin' wide shot of them just going to town, like two stunt people going to town on each other? And I was like, but whatever, that's fine.
Yeah,
What?
because to me, like they're trying to do like too much of the like, oh well, George Lucas like these samurai movies and these westerns.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, don't like you're not Akira Kurosawa, okay? Like it only works in a certain frame. We've seen Jedi go crazy, go nuts with fighting.
Yeah.
This is Ahsoka Tano. People want to see her go crazy. And they're amazing stunt women. There are a few that I follow on Instagram that post like the behind the scenes stuff. Like I forget her name, but the one who actually did the motion capture for the animated Clone, or was it Clone Wars Rebels, where Darth Maul fought Ahsoka.
Oh,
Where
it's
it was Ray
incredible.
Park. Yeah, it was Ray Park and her, and they actually mocapped and fought and did that. Like, why don't you get her to do Ahsoka and go nuts? Like, have this fight be incredible. They're like, well, we want to pay homage to the samurai stuff. It's like, okay, that works. Okay, how old is that movie, first of all? And two, you're not that directed. Like, I don't know why. People want to see the crazy. And I don't get that.
See-
like, even in the new movies, we want to see lightsaber battles. We want to see all the crazy.
See,
Go with the-
this fight I kind of viewed as, I don't know why, but like I had this like mentality of, oh, it's just like the Vader versus Obi-Wan, like that first fight that we saw. Like they're trying to like capture that. I don't think they did.
No.
That's where my brain went.
But the beginning
And
of the
I also
episode,
think-
Ahsoka was running around just mowing people down, and then we
Yeah.
had this.
She's
Yeah.
going crazy.
Yeah.
But she's also like, those were just chumps, right? They didn't have names. Like this person not only,
So-
Nameless henchmen just getting
not only
cut down.
does she have a
Squad.
name, she has a freaking like spear
The
that
Beskar
is
spear.
invulnerable to her laser swords, to her lightsabers.
So the other thing I'm wondering about this episode is I'm wondering if this was the first episode that they shot during COVID, which meant that they may
I
have
looked
think
this
that-
up.
Go ahead.
They finished filming before COVID started.
They did finish filming before COVID. Okay.
Before
Um,
COVID.
Because
so
the
it means
other
no reshoots.
yeah, because the other little things
that
like
I don't know.
it seemed like they're like the whole town seemed pretty sparse when a lot of times like he's like the Mandalorians walked into places and they seemed like full of life, and even like the wall outside the town I was like not stoked on. The talk in the middle of the woods like was very clearly like a theater set. Like at no point in the
It
show
did.
have
It
I
seemed like a
gone.
stage.
Yeah, it didn't look. At no point in the show up to this point have I been like, oh yeah, that's definitely a stage. But like once they were walking in there, I was like, in this whole episode, I was like, yeah, this is very clearly like a stage and not like it's a sound stage. It's not like woods.
I do kind of regret watching those behind the scenes from Mando season 1 because now it's all I can see.
Yeah.
All I can see is
All I
that
can see is
giant room.
the volume. Yeah.
Yeah, the volume.
But I haven't felt that until
I
this
felt that
episode.
This
the
whole season,
opening.
I felt it.
The
Yeah,
opening, if you
this
go
whole
back
thing.
in like the first episode when he walks in, when they walk into town, you're like obviously it's a smaller space, but I didn't feel like, oh, this is a smaller. This is like a room with a screen around it.
Whenever I can see the horizon, I can tell you where the volume ends.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and that's all I could see, and it kind of ruined it for me. I do think this is my second favorite episode of the season. I will say that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in love with the season. I didn't make that any secret over when we did a guest star.
Over on Rogue Wave Podcast just last week.
So, it was just kind of like, yeah, like it gets fine. But I do think the Timothy Oliphant episode is my favorite, and I just don't know if it's because I really like Timothy Oliphant or not.
It's probably that.
But like they've all been just very fillery, and I think that first episode filler I just didn't mind as much. And this one at least gave me answers. It gave us the name of the child, which I think is hilarious that it's not a cutesy name. I think that's just the best thing they could have done. Grogu.
Yeah, Grogu. And everyone's like, nope, still Baby Yoda.
Kakarot.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
I would have been fine if there was still a mystery where we didn't know
Yep.
its name. I think that would have been fine. I don't think we needed an actual name.
You would
I
definitely
think it would have been better if she revealed that where he was from, and all the other backstory was fine. Everything else but the name. I think that was fine. So let's keep some mystery around the guy. But we did get that he was at the Jedi Temple in Coruscant.
Yeah.
Someone took him away, and then that's where his memory went hazy. And it's just like, who took him?
Yeah. Like it was. Did you see that meme where it's Anakin talking to Grogu, and he's just like, "Hey, how about you don't go?"
He's like a school
to
shooter.
the youngling
Like,
class.
you
Yeah,
were nice to me.
you don't go today.
Man, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
A question from Chad. Do you think Ahsoka will be in the Obi-Wan miniseries?
No.
Probably not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think she would keep her
I
distance,
think
I would
she
think.
will be in the Cassian Andor show because he gets
Which I still don't know how that's
That could be a thing.
he gets the codename Fulcrum. Who held it before him?
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
It's weird that they're making a series on a guy that we know is gonna like die. I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, isn't
Clone
that
They're
all
making
of
an
Star
Obi-Wan
Wars?
show.
Yeah, but like that's more interesting. I mean, he's a Jedi as opposed to this regular like schlub who
Yeah,
just
but
like dies in the
Mandalorian.
end.
He's not. Mandalorian's not a Jedi.
No, I'm saying like Obi-Wan is a much more interesting premise than like Cassian Andor. I mean, like in the movie when he talks about, I was in a rebellion since I was a kid, blah blah blah. You don't know my struggle.
gonna have
it's like
to
let's go. It's just like let's like what's it like? It's always sunny in Philadelphia. You're about to see the struggle. Like
Cassian
don't
struggles.
They're gonna have to stretch some bullshit
Cassian struggles
to make 12 episodes of Tatooine super interesting.
Yeah.
I really don't think they need to make super long ongoing seasons though anymore. I think literally like as much as I like The Mandalorian, I think season 1 and they just end it, I would have been happy with. And then we move on to someone else and we just like get more of this universe filled out the way the novels used to do it, right?
Yes.
Like the way like the games kind of do
Like
it.
anthology
where
series.
like right,
Yeah.
and then maybe we see like Mando and Grogu show up somewhere like in another series, and we go, okay, that's what happened with them, and it just kind of continues, and they build, and all maybe we get to an Endgame style final series or not, I don't know, but
or
like
Defenders style series.
or
But
Defenders,
better than
Finders-
Defenders
yeah,
because Defenders was okay.
that was not great, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I feel like they're just, I don't know, they're just stalling in season 2.
Yeah, it kind of seems like. I mean, when we're talking about that with Hassan, he's like, "Oh, it's just a flavor of the week." Yeah, but like, I don't know. They kind of painted it as there's going to be lore. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah.
they feel like they promised us lore and we're going to get it. And each episode is like, "Here's a flavor of the week." All right, tune in next time. It's like, wait, what? But where do we get to? It's like a video game.
There is a lot. Yeah, there definitely is a lot of open threads that they keep opening doors in the show and not closing a lot of them. And again, we had a little bit of that in the first season, but it definitely got wrapped up in a way that that made sense. But I feel like they're opening much larger doors in this season, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to come back to it.
Into a larger world of
and the
more
question is,
television.
are they going to wrap it up within the Mandalorian, or are they just doing soft pilot over and over again?
Yeah,
I think they're going to do just a soft pilot snowball effect is what I think is going to happen. And again, they can do that and just make it like a mini movie. They can make it like a 70-minute, 80-minute, just like one-off about Thrawn or like Ahsoka, and just like give us that flavor. That's all we really want. By the way, before, I know we got to take a commercial break in a minute, with Thrawn, because they did mention him in this episode. Who do you want to have play him?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Why?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Have you not
I can
seen
see
like
that.
the concept? Like, there's a couple different actors that are being like portrayed as Thrawn, right? There's a couple different ones that are being photoshopped, and I really like the look of Benedict Cumberbatch. I thought it was really interesting. I was like, ooh, and also like Benedict can play like a sinister sneer person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has that acting gravitas about him and that voice. I mean, say what you want about Star Trek Into Darkness. Like there were moments and scenes where he really delivered as the villain Khan, and I was like, ooh, I want to see that same spiciness for a Grand Admiral.
You want Smaug?
Yeah, no, but
I feel like you could just get Lars Mikkelsen. You know, he does his voice in
Mickelson.
Is it Mickelson?
Isn't it Mickelson? I'm pretty sure
I
it's
don't
Mickelson,
know.
isn't it?
Because
He's Mads'
brother.
Then it's
I was going to say, if
Mikkelsen.
someone says get Mads Mikkelsen, poor Lars.
Who is taking over for Johnny Depp in the Fantastic Beasts movies.
That's
That's
also
true.
yeah, he
true.
is.
Which is now I
that's
wish
true.
he was just. It's always been
He
Matt
should have
Mickelson.
always-
I'm
yeah.
mad about
right?
it.
Like exactly.
He's a much
I thought
better
Johnny
choice.
Depp was such a weird pick because like he's too Depp. Like he's too like it might as well have been like Tom Cruise. It might as well have been Tom Cruise. It's like it takes me out of the movie that it's Johnny
Yeah.
Depp.
Yeah.
And then people that like
Too
B movies
big.
are like, "Fuck yeah, Mads Mikkelsen." And everybody else is like, "Who is this guy? It's weird. They got a no name here."
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Mads is gonna crush it.
He's gonna
Like,
crush
he's absolutely gonna crush
If you use Lars in this, I mean, first of all,
Lars.
you can't use Mads because he's already Galen Erso. So
Yep,
that would
yep.
be weird. But, you got to
That's
put a
true.
bunch of prosthetics on him anyway. You got to do the red eyes. You got to do the brow ridge. You could probably do the accentuated cheekbones.
They got to be British. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No matter what, they got to be British.
telling you, Benedict with that D voice and that sneer, like he can deliver. That's wrong.
I had two thoughts. I had Matt Smith as one.
No!
of them.
Yep.
Ooh, interesting.
Absolutely.
I think he's got the height, he's got the cheekbones, and I think he could play a solid villain. I can never pronounce his name, but the other one is Simon from Misfits. He was also in Game of Thrones. He was Ramsay Bolton.
Oh,
I
him.
think he would be. He's a
got
little
the
on the
voice.
short side, but he's got the voice, and he can definitely like get that stare, that Thrawn
They could have him
stare.
stand
down.
I can see him too. I can see him as that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna butcher his name right now. I'm gonna try it
Because
though.
he played
It's
a
like-
really good villain as Bolton.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
really good,
So
sinister villain.
if you've watched Misfits too, like you see him playing like shy, like inner, but then there's like that like future version of him that's just like an absolute badass
Yeah.
too.
Also,
So,
he's
like,
kind of a
he
huge
kinda
creep.
has that going
There's,
on.
like that aspect there.
Richard from
it's
chat,
so
Scarlett
strong.
Johansson is Thrawn.
No.
She's like, I should be able to play any role I want. That's great.
Well, John Favreau,
Oh.
man, is pulling all his friends.
That's awesome.
Disney's like, didn't we just kill you off in something? Like, go away.
She's like, I'm back. I'm
Because
proud, baby.
also, Paul Bettany also would have been a great choice, but we've already seen
yeah.
him. So
Yeah, he's too. Yeah. There would be people who were like, wait a minute, how's Jarvis in this? There would definitely be people who would do that.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, all right. We're gonna take a quick break, guys. When we come back, we're talking about some more stuff and things. Hey, welcome back to Button Smash. What's going on, everybody? Thanks, everyone who's been listening on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can listen to a podcast, watching us on youtube.com/Rogue Matter, and tuning in every Thursday at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/WeAreRogue Matter, and joining in the live chat. Yeah, we're live. Yeah. What's going on? All right, guys, a couple of things that have been happening recently. A really big one, something that nobody saw
Changing
happen.
the face of entertainment forever.
I mean,
I called it.
This is huge. I mean, out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere, more like HBO
Fuck
out
on,
of nowhere.
HBO!
Fuck on, HBO out of nowhere. HBO came out of nowhere. It was just like, hey, we are going to have a lot of our movies release in theaters and on HBO Max. Well, the Warner Brothers said that. at the same time. So you're going to have movies like Dune, The Matrix 4, Suicide Squad, Mortal Kombat, Godzilla vs. Kong, The Conjuring, Does Everybody Do It, Space Jam, A New Legacy, and a bunch of others more. They will be released on HBO Max and in theaters at the same time because of COVID.
For at least the next year.
Yeah. At least,
they said we're doing this for the next year.
Which is and Wonder Woman, which is insane. I mean, I'm sure some of the directors aren't really too jazzed about it. Like, as nice of a person Patty Jenkins seems to be. I'm pretty sure she wanted her Wonder Woman just released in theaters, like thrown out there into the world and not in your living rooms yet. Because as someone who makes movies, like her, she's like, I want everyone to experience this in its full form, which is the movie theater.
I mean,
and that's what we made it for. But at the same
this
time,
point,
it's like,
don't discount the king of the monsters.
I'm just saying from her perspective.
No,
I'm not losing any sleep over this because like Wonder Woman's straight to on demand for me. I'm not. I don't care at all.
So here's the thing too. Like, there's some caveats to this, right? Is they will be released on HBO Max, but they will only be for about 31 days each from like when it comes out. So you don't have like forever to watch it. It's going to go away after a month, right? So like there's that. And then I'm sure it's going to go through the normal cycle of like doing like the paid like digital ownership kind of thing and renting and all of that. Also, Wonder Woman has been delayed how many times?
Several times.
So
not as much as Black Widow. I'll tell you that much.
That's fair. That's fair. But at this point, I feel like these movies, they're like some money coming in for a digital subscription is better than no money or only box office at this point, because the box office is not doing well.
Yeah. The box office is
understandable.
It's just not a thing right now in our COVID world. I mean, we have
nor
top
should it
scientists.
be right now.
Yeah, right. And we have top scientists around the world, trying to think of a vaccine to help us all like here in the year 2020, Lord, and God bless them. I hope they do something soon. But at no point soon is anyone comfortable going to a movie theater. There are people who have gone to the movie theater to see things like Tenet. But at the same time, not everyone's like, I don't want to do that. People don't want to risk possibly getting, the virus or bringing it home to their family just because they went and saw a movie. You really can't safeguard movie theaters that much. I mean, all it takes is one person, and then boom, you got to shut down your theater.
I mean, there's no like windows. So. It's an enclosed space.
Yeah, and then they don't have like the proper. I mean, it's just air conditioning pumping in there. You don't have anything pumping out. I mean, this movie is huge because you got like a huge movie like Dune. I mean, that's something I was looking forward to on the biggest screen I could possibly find. Now it's got to be like the biggest screen that's in the
biggest screen that's already in your house.
Yeah,
but you know what? Perspective is everything. If the game Subliminal has taught me anything, is that perspective is everything. And you just sit closer to the screen, and all of a sudden it's a bigger screen.
True.
Problem solved. You're welcome.
Or
we got modern solutions for modern problems.
Yeah.
Scooch closer.
Or you visit your families, and you have the one that has a 72-inch TV in their living room, and you're watching it on that puppy. You know what I'm talking about.
I'll just say those 4K HDR TVs are real cheap this time of the year. So you want to treat yourself to a nice like 55-inch, 65-inch. It's only going to set you back $400.
As well as just so everybody knows, I know we're talking about HBO Max because it's owned by AT&T. It's actually the parent company all here. If you have, there are some wireless plans that it actually comes free on. I found out that I also was getting it for free. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So by all means, check your carrier because the benefits you get from that, because chances are you may even be able to just freaking log in and check that out next year without having to pay anything extra. This is a baller move. I mean, I think this is great. Greg did call this. I definitely we've had many discussion about this. I definitely thought it was going to be a bigger deal that they made this move, that they were making moves like this, but good on you.
I'm just glad
how many more people are going to sign up?
I'm glad it's not pay-per-view. Because that Mulan fiasco, forget about it.
Yeah,
that was
I think that honestly
garbage.
painted all of like what was going to happen in the future. I think a lot of it was hinging on what happens with Mulan, and everyone is like, "This is a crap movie. We don't want to watch it." And then freaking like Warner Brothers is just like, "Oh,
hold
no.
my beer."
See, I would have watched it
Most
if
of our
they
movies
didn't
are crap.
charge $30.
Yeah,
Like maybe 15. But like,
I mean, they're thinking about people with whole families, and you think about the price of like taking in like a family of 5 or 6 to a theater. It's more than
that's
$30.
a lot more than that.
Yeah, way more. And then you throw in like concessions, way more than $30. But I haven't seen the fine print if if there is going to be a surcharge for certain movies. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, hey, you have HBO Max, Dune's coming out, pay this price to watch Dune. You know what I mean?
They can't. They
haven't
can't
really
backwalk it after this.
I don't know though, because I think
have they said is they're going to surcharge? They only say it's going to be available on HBO Max.
They haven't. I'm pretty sure they said there's no surcharge. I'm like so
too.
confident.
HBO's been pretty chill about stuff. Like they don't care. They've outright said we don't care if you share your login with other people.
Oh, really? Wow, that's a baller move.
Oh yeah, when HBO Go first came out, they were like, yeah, we don't care. We just want people watching things and tuning in. Because if they got your attention, then they got your wallet. That's the way it is.
Very true. And you know what? So sometimes, like, you know, when you share a login, what eventually happens is, like, that person either stops the subscription and then you pick it up or whatever. Like, I know people who were sharing my Disney Plus and then they just like got their own. I mean, like, my Disney Plus is still going, but they're like, oh, I kind of just want like my own library. And even though like you make someone else's like profile, like I made them a profile, they're like, I don't know, I kind of want it for myself and just to like, you know, like not have to log into your thing. And I was just like, touche, Disney. You got one. You got another one.
If your service is good enough and there's value in not sharing it, you're not going to want to share it. And that's like the same thing with like Netflix. Everyone shares their Netflix, right? But that's like also very true is everyone wants their own profile. They want their own thing. Like they want to be independent. Like they don't want to have to worry about if I log in, am I going to get booted out or something like that.
Yeah.
So
also I guess the thing about it as well, this is actually more of a Warner Brothers move than it is an HBO move.
It is,
While HBO is just kind of the highway in which they're rolling this out. But it's whatever, man. We're benefiting, so let's do it.
The future of the DC extended universe rides on Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. They do not want to delay this any more than they have to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman. Oh man, like Wonder Woman has to do good. Wonder Woman has to do good.
No. The Suicide Squad has to do good. If Wonder Woman doesn't do good, Suicide Squad can still. The Suicide Squad. We got to make sure there's a difference there.
Yeah, because you don't want to confuse
Suicide Squad
with
can still pick
Academy Award-winning Suicide Squad,
or potentially 6 years from now when they come out with a Suicide Squad, not straight, just
Oh man, but these titles are huge. I mean, The Matrix 4. What?
Forgot
that's just a weird thing to say. First off,
that story is too complete. I'm not interested in it.
I wasn't interested in The Matrix 2 or 3.
But I was a wee lad.
Sorry, I lied. I was interested in The Matrix 2. I was not interested in The Matrix 3.
I'm interested in Godzilla vs. Kong, and just to see that in 2021, that's going to be coming straight to your living room. Like, that's insane. And the Suicide Squad. These are big movies just coming to your living room.
I'm very excited about
Space Jam.
well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the new
Space Jam,
Space Jam, a new legacy. What is it going to be like? Tron? There's like some like snot-nosed kid. I'm Michael Jordan's kid.
No, isn't it LeBron? It's LeBron.
Tron Legacy.
I thought that was just a rumor. Did they solidify it's LeBron?
Oh yeah,
it's LeBron.
Yeah.
What? LeBron James?
You gotta get the king, man.
Listen,
That's
he was
crazy.
awesome in Trainwreck. He was
Did not watch that movie.
hysterical. I know
watch that
Amy
movie.
Schumer sometimes rubs people the wrong way.
I don't like Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer?
Yeah.
What are you watching? What was his movie?
It's Trainwreck. Yeah,
It's with her
He's
and Bill
best
Hader,
pals
right?
with Bill Hader.
yeah, and
Interesting.
he's freaking hilarious in it.
I saw.
I'm
Was there
sure
a
he
scene where
is,
like they were at like a coffee shop and he's trying to get LeBron to pick up the bill or something?
Oh yeah,
like that?
it's
I've seen that scene.
Also, John Cena has some scenes in that, and he's also hysterical in that movie. They got everyone.
What?
It's oh god, what's his name? I can't think of the director's name. It's the big one of the big friggin' comedy directors, works with Will Ferrell and whatnot.
Oh, Apatow?
Apatow. I couldn't think of
John
Apatow.
Favreau.
Oh, John Favreau.
I was going to say the
What?
Farrelly
Favreau.
brothers.
No, yeah, Judd Apatow. It's an Apatow vehicle, so
Where is it?
it's good.
Yeah. Speaking of good, Casey, there's a new land coming to our world stuff transition.
What?
Take it.
Casey, talk about the Nintendo thing.
That thing.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
They finished.
I wish we just do a screen share at this
They
point.
finished the theme
and
park
just-
in Japan, but we can't go to it because we're American and we've completely fucking screwed up this whole pandemic thing. Rest of the world is like, hey, great, we're opening brand new Nintendo theme park that you can go to and have a good time and drive your Mario Karts and look at all this cool scenery, everything you've ever wanted since you were a kid. But not you, Americans. Not you.
Do you remember when in the time of South Park, I'll put it this way, and everyone was just like, Canada sucks. Who wants to be a Canadian? And now I feel like a lot of people are just like, man, I wish I was Canadian.
I don't want to.
True.
I don't want to live in a fucking hot zone of disease anymore. I'm not asking for a lot.
Right, like Japan's doing all this cool stuff. Like you have this so the Mario Kart ride. It's on rails and it's also like augmented
It's AR,
reality.
man. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to see that. I want to
That's
see that. The cars themselves will look really cool. They haven't showed off the augmented reality thing. They did just show like the hat you're gonna wear and like just kind of like the Mushroom Kingdom. It looks so cool and so it's just brought to life. It looks awesome. Like I want to go.
It looks like Super Mario 3D World.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
but IRL.
Yeah.
It's insane. You got a big old Bowser sitting there. I'm like, oh my god, this thing's gonna be. I mean, that's gonna be the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
I want a Tanuki feather.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I mean, what did you guys think when you saw the footage? I mean, it just it looks so bright and cheery. It looks like something that we need right now. Something just bright and cheery and colorful, like a place of happiness. What did you guys think?
Listen, it's
100%.
everything I've ever wanted since I was a kid. You remember growing up and you're like, hey, I'd love to have a Super Mario action figure, except they don't really make them. You know? Like there was always like a lack of merchandise and other ways you could engage with stuff. Like, oh, you want to go to a theme park about Mickey Mouse? Like, sure, there's 2 of them. There's more if you travel internationally. Oh, you want a whole Islands of Adventure theme park with Marvel superheroes? We got you, fam, at Universal. But never a Nintendo thing outside of video games. It's always been so insular. And now it's here. And I'm 30 years old. And I get to be a child again.
You're like, I don't have to wait for my parents to take me. I can take
and
myself.
I'm tall enough to go on all the rides. I don't get
Barely.
Whoa. Are you
I
though?
am. Believe me. 5'8", very
I don't know if I am.
sufficient. Short kings everywhere.
Very sufficient.
Very sufficient.
Okay, well, okay.
Okay, Wolverine.
This guy.
I'm taller than Wolverine. He's only 5'3"
Exactly.
in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you going to tell Wolverine he can't go on a ride?
I mean, he might not. He might be too much for the weight limit. He's got 150 pounds of metal in his body.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Very fair. Very fair. Oh, man. Now let's move into our segment of what have we been playing? Pigs in space. Chris, let's start off with you. What have you been playing lately?
Guys, I've been playing so many freaking video games. It's ridiculous. But I'm just going to
All the games.
try to break it down to 3 quick ones. So I have to play the Jason role this week because I played Rust
Unbelievable.
for the first time. It was on sale. I downloaded it. Jason didn't know I downloaded it, and then he sent me a message. Was like, "Are you playing? Are you in Rust right now?" I was like, yes. So we ended up playing together, and let me tell you, it must have been the quintessential experience because I walked into an area, was killed immediately at one point. Later, we ran into a random dude who started playing over the audio, random creepy songs over it, and he dropped
awesome.
an astronaut suit at my feet, so I was no longer naked. So then I was running around as an astronaut, watching Jason build things. That was great. So Rust, me and Jason, we're buddies now on there. Fun. I also finally got the chance to play Phasmophobia.
Hey.
And oh my god, this game is a Chris Watches Ghost Hunter's dream because it is fun as hell. Would recommend. Still in early access. You hunt ghosts. You have to find clues depending on what combination of 3 clues you get. You figure out what type of ghost you're dealing with. You try to aggravate the ghosts. If they get too aggravated, they kill you. It's a bunch of fun. Super creepy. And then, of course, the last thing, I've been playing the new Destiny expansion. It is super fun. First of all, the new Area Europa is great, but also the new Darkness Stasis skills are so fun. Totally worth it. Would recommend. The file size is now about half the size because they got rid of a whole bunch of extra stuff that they didn't decide they didn't need anymore.
Nice.
Anyways, I'm playing all the video games, and I left out probably about 10 other video games I've been playing
So
with,
many-
but you get
so many
those
James.
3.
Yeah. Casey, what have you been up to?
I did an entire run through of Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
Ooh, so
I would have
calamitous.
talked about this last week, but I had to have dinner with my family instead of playing video games. So, whatever. Thanksgiving.
We also didn't have a show
Oh,
last
yeah,
week.
there's that too.
So you couldn't have talked about it last week.
Thanks.
You know what?
A giving
Casey,
of thanks.
Same.
Right?
Same.
Anyway, Chris convinced me to play the demo a ways back before it was released, and I immediately fell in love. I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game or any kind of Mosu style game before, and you just feel like a goddamn superhero. Like it's one man versus like a whole army, and you're just cutting through waves of enemies. I enjoyed this game more than I enjoyed actual Breath of the Wild. And I don't even know how many hours into 100% completing that game.
It's a bold claim there, Copernicus. Bold claim.
Listen, sometimes at the end of the day, you come home from work at your cushy office job, and you're just like, I just want to feel like I have control of my life. And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but sometimes it's just nice to just tear through an entire army of dudes and not have to worry about anything. Because there's no, you don't get anything for playing on a harder difficulty, so you could put it on easy and you could just steamroll everything, and it feels great. And there's like
that's exactly why we play games, to escape reality.
That's it. There's like 16 different characters. There's a lot of great surprises. The story,
that's a lot of characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The story even starts out the way that it was pitched is it's a prequel 100 years before Breath of the Wild, but there's a twist, and it's a very excellent twist. Ooh. And it's the same kind of twist that's someone like me absolutely eats up. Other people are like, this is dumb, and I'm like, shut up.
Give me my twist.
I can't tell you how long I've wanted like a dumb twist in a game like this. And they lied. They lied in the promotional material to save the twist. And you gotta admire that.
Good job, Nintendo.
And Koei Tecmo, who are the real geniuses behind this.
And also, good job, Blizzard. I've been playing World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Ooh, wow. Oh, wow. Did it. Nailed the joke. I've been playing WoW Shadowlands. They did like a graphical update. It's a lot bigger now. One of my friends, Rip, he couldn't play the game because his PC is not up to date. He has some old parts in it, and the game actually told him that he couldn't play, so he had to try to get a refund. I'm like, imagine not being like your computer not being able to handle WoW. What? That's weird. So weird. But yeah, the retail version now it's beautiful.
Did it hit a 15th anniversary yet? Is it more?
2005, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yes.
No, 2004.
It was 2004.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, then it would have been last year.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. It's insane what the game has done. You basically play in this like ethereal like Greek mythology, Roman mythology like land, and it's beautiful. It's like a place of the gods, and it's really cinematic. All the spells are nice. The characters play a bit different. I've been maining paladin and just made a hunter to play with a friend of mine. Warlock. I love just making new characters in RPGs and like seeing what I like, and I'm loving what's happening right now. So I can't wait to get back in it and play more of the storyline. Greg, what have you been playing?
I spent most of my time playing Miles Morales, but when I wasn't playing that, I needed something to just turn my brain off of. I played the free game that came with my PlayStation 5. I played Astro's Playroom, which is actually really
I was really
fun.
hoping you were
I had a
say
really good time.
Yeah.
No, I tried Bug Snacks and I couldn't do it.
I watched the
like
playthrough of that.
Not enough acid.
That game is crazy.
No. I just like
That game's so weird.
it plays like a cheap game. And I put in like maybe 30 minutes, and like the camera movements were just like cheap, and I was like, ew, whatever. It was just too floaty. But I played Astro's Playroom. It's really good. If you like, Chris is gonna love it if he ever gets a PlayStation 5.
Sometime.
Or I should say when, because you're gonna get one.
I'll get one. Even me.
Don't worry about
but
that.
If you are a big Sony fan,
Which I am.
and you love the consoles and they're a big part of your gaming history, you're gonna really appreciate Astro's Playroom, because every single collectible is just PlayStation centric. It's all themed.
Awesome.
Like, it's
Do you get a
so
multi-tap?
cool. And I don't want you. Yeah, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but you do. The collectibles are peripherals from Sony's past,
Nice.
from PlayStation's past, which is really cool. So
DDR mats.
And the custom music too. Like I love the GPU world, and like there's like a song playing in the background about like the GPU, and it's become like a meme on Twitch. It's
so fun. It's like, it's well done. There's a lot of thought that went into the world, which you can tell. The characters are really cute. It's not very challenging, but you're not really expecting that. I think the most challenge I had was at the final boss, and I died like once, and then I figured it out, and I was like, all right, whatever. But it's just like a completionist, just like dream in terms of just going through, turn off your brain, get everything. It's nice and easy, and you're good to go.
And it's talking about the it's also like the tech demo for the PlayStation 5 and the controller.
That's right. So it takes advantage of a lot of different things, like the microphone in the controller. So there's like a little propeller that you have to blow into the controller, and you spin with your breath that little
Cute.
propeller thing.
That's awesome.
It has the I don't know what it's called, but the triggers, like, they can become more firm as you're pressing them, the trigger buttons. So they kind of have that. So it's almost like a mechanical keyboard where you have to really like press and then press in more. It has that like feel to it. They really take advantage of that with something as easy as getting collectibles from. They have this like I don't know, like, remember the toy machines where you put in a quarter and you have to get something out of it? Like a crane. It was that plus a crane machine is like a combination of it. So you get that feel of it. The tilt sensitivities in there. The touchpad is all in there. It's literally like anything you can do with a controller in any future game, they incorporated into this, and it didn't feel too gimmicky. Kind of like if you ever played Ratchet and Clank, not Crack in Time, Chris. What was the one before that?
Tools of Destruction.
Tools of Destruction, and you had to fall, and then you had to use the 6-axis to like balance yourself. And that wasn't great. Hated that.
That wasn't.
And great. I never went back to the Tools of Destruction. It was the first 10 minutes, and never went back. It doesn't feel anything like that. Everything is very organic. It feels very good. It's a lot of fun. It just like it's a good time. So if you have a PlayStation 5 and you haven't downloaded or tried this yet, I do recommend it. It's literally free. It doesn't cost you a dime, and it's very quick. You can just speed run it.
Well, $500 technically.
Yeah.
Well,
if you
already have the,
you can play this game.
If you already have the PlayStation 5, it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah. So,
and speaking of things that don't cost you anything, free this week, we got Cave Story. Is it Cave Story Plus?
Cave Story Plus. Yep, it's on the Epic
Cave
Store.
Story Plus on the Epic Store. Worms Rumble, Rocket Arena, and Just Cause 4 on the PlayStation. All right, everybody, that's all the time we have for this week. This was the Button Smash Podcast. Thank you for tuning in each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/RealRogueMatter. Listening to us on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to a podcast on your device. On your way home, when you're working at home because it's COVID, everybody stay safe out there. We will see you later, or we'll see you another time.
At the Circus of Values.
Nailed it.